Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this video where I do another 3 looks 1 palette using the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist Club Nebula palette. Now, there's been a fucking saga with this palette and me. I received it in the mail. I bought it in the first launch. Like, I woke up in the middle of the night and I bought it because I didn't want it to sell out, and I received it in the mail and it was smashed. Just the most devastating thing that could ever happen to me. But I was able to smush the shades that broke enough that I was able to use it and film this video with it because I just wanted to use it so badly. They are sending me a new one. They were very, very kind about, Kaleidos was very, very kind about this, and they so graciously sent me a new one. This is my broken one, so I'm not going to like hold it up and show you the shades, but this is this is my palette. I do have it. I had such a fun time using this palette. I can't wait to play with it more. I absolutely love all of the looks that I've done, and I also love seeing everyone else's looks that they've posted in videos or on Instagram. I think it's so versatile. You can go so many different ways with this palette, and I'm just having a fucking blast. I will just say that. Before I speak too much, I'll give my thoughts on the palette at the end of the video, but I mean, spoiler alert, I love it. I really don't have that many complaints about it. So yeah, let's just get into the looks. Okay, and welcome to the first look of this video using the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist Club Nebula palette. I have nothing to say. I have nothing really to say other than let's get started. I'm going to use some of the purple shades today, and I think the blue as well, the dark blue. I can't show you this if you didn't watch my first impressions. It's broken. It arrived broken, so I can't like lift it up and show you the shade, so you're just going to have to trust me that I have it, and hopefully it'll be still okay if I can't hold it up. So I'm first going to go into the shade Naaru. It's this like neutral, or no, well, it's this like taupey purpley shade. I've set my lids, by the way, and I've primed with my NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. I'll do the same thing in every single one of these looks. And I'm just going to put this in my crease as a transition shade. Okay, so that is buffed to my crease. I spent a little bit of time like really building that up. Now I'm going to take the shade Rockhopper. It's this cool toned purple. And I'm going to put this in my outer corner and my crease. So I built that up in my crease. Now I'm going to take the shade Void. This is a dark navy blue, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to build this up in my inner, or my outer corner and my crease as well. So I built that up in my crease. This normally doesn't really happen to me, but it looks like the purple is like totally overpowered by this blue. So I'm going to take the brush that I used Rockhopper on. I'm going to blend this blue, like blend the shades together, blend this blue out a little bit, but then I'm gonna go back in, I think, with Rockhopper just to bring some of that purple back. So now I'm just going into a touch more of Rockhopper, and I'm just going over the edges of the blue with more of that shade just to kind of get the purple back. But it's like it's very blue. It's fine. It's not gonna like really ruin the overall like thing that I wanted to do, the look that I wanted to do, but it's normally I don't find that happens, so I don't know, it's probably like me blending the shadow up too much, but the purple just kind of seemed to blend away a little bit. And then I'm just gonna go over the edges of that with a clean brush. Okay, so I'm gonna do a half cut crease today, so I'm quickly going to cut my crease and then I'll be right back. Okay, so my crease is cut. Now I'm gonna do what I normally do when I do a half cut crease. So I'm just gonna go into the Rockhopper shade, the purple, just a tap, and then I'm gonna go over the edges of where I cut my crease, and then I'm also going to stamp that on my lid a little bit. So it seems like this is kind of bringing back the purple tone to the look, which is good. And then I'm going to take a little stamp of Void, so the blue, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to bring it as, I'm going to keep it a little bit closer to my concealer. And then I'm going to deepen the outer corner with this a little bit. For my lid, I'm going to go into the shade Astro. So it's actually the shade that's the most broken in my palette, but it's this blue, shimmery, purpley shade. I'm going to spray that, and I'm going to put this in the middle of my lid. Wow, that's so nice. I'm not going to lie, this is like, I don't know why all the other shades intrigue me more than I'm intrigued by this one, but that's pretty nice. I actually wasn't going originally to use this shade, but it kind of works so perfectly that I felt like I had to. Now I'm going to go into the shade You're My Only Hope. This one is a lavender, and I'm going to put this on the inner part of my lid. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the dregs of Astro and just go back and forth and blend those two shades together on my lid. Beautiful. Now I'm going to, again, just take like a very tiny amount of Rockhopper and just blend that into Astro, just so we get a little bit of a blend going on there. But I also do, when I do this, like to take the brush with the shimmer on it and just lightly stamp that over the edge of the matte, just kind of like going back and forth with the matte and the shimmer, just so it's like not like a stamp of a matte and then a shimmer. It kind of like fades a little bit more, because it can be a little bit tricky to fade like a matte and a metallic shade together sometimes. And then I'm going to take the first shade I use, Naaru, and just blend over the very edges of my shadow. And then I'm going to go in again with what I can on my finger of Astro and You're My Only Hope, and intensify that on my lid. Beautiful. And then I'm actually going, I didn't bring my face highlighter with me, which is Star Surfer, I believe it's called, from Kaleidos, but I'm going to go into like the slightest tap, the slightest tap of Nova, which is like a blue pink iridescent shade. It's the shade that looks almost white in the pan. A small amount, and I'm gonna put that on my brow bone because it's quite a strong shade. Yeah, normally I don't go in with like crazy shades on my brow bone, but I thought it might look a little kind of cool. So similar to what I did in my first impressions, I kind of just want to keep this all the same tone. So I'm just going to go into Rockhopper. I'm going to put this all along my lower lash line, and I'm going to blend it out. Okay, it looks like a lot right now, but I promise it will come together. I'm going to go into Void, that dark blue. I'm going to put this all along my lower lash line, and I'm going to blend it out. And I'm going to take Naaru, that taupey shade, purpley taupey shade, blend this all out. Alright, and then to finish everything off, I'm going to take the shade Nova, and I'm going to put this in my inner corner after I spray it, and that is like the perfect inner corner shade. Holy, this is like looking way more blue than I initially thought it was going to. In my mind, this was going to be like more of a gray toned purple look, but I'm not mad at it. Holy, I really want to use this Nova shade like all over my lid. I really wonder what that would look like. Okay, I'm super happy with how this is coming. It actually matches my shirt super great. That's mostly what I'm going to be doing for the eyes. I really debated putting Firefly, which is the green, on my lower lash line, but I kind of just want to keep it the way it is. So I'm going to, that's my instinct, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do liner, put some lips on, and do my lashes, and then I'll be back. Okay, and this is the finished first look. Like I said before, it's a little bit more blue than I initially anticipated it going, but I'm not mad at it. I actually really like it. I love the way that all of the shades work together super well, and I feel like this really speaks to the versatility of this palette, because there's so many different combinations of shades that you can do that just look so great. I just use a black liner in my waterline, and I use the Maybelline Powder Matte lipstick in the shade Carnival Brown. It's like a taupe, and I really love it. It's been like my go-to cool toned lipstick recently. Again, trying to use the lipsticks that I have, but yeah, I really love the way this look turned out. Normally I do these videos with like the most neutral, like quote-unquote wearable look at the beginning, but I have a feeling that they're all gonna be, all the looks that I do are gonna be pretty bright. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say. Let's go to the second look. Okay, hello everyone. This is the second look. We're going to use some of the blues and the greens today. I feel like I've seen so many people use these and they look so beautiful, so I'm very excited. I'm going to start with the shade Gravity. It's a lime greeny shade. And I'm just going to put this in my crease. as per my experience with this palette so far, that color literally blended itself. So now I'm going to go into the shade 7 of 9. It's this light blue shade. I'm going to put this all over my lid, which is rare for me. I normally don't put mattes everywhere, but today I am. I'm going to put this all over my lid, and I'm going to blend it into my crease as well, and I'm just going to put this literally everywhere. I really hope this turns out as I envision it, because that would be shitty if it didn't. But I have a very specific way that I want this to look, and I'm honestly skeptical as to whether or not it's gonna pan out. So we'll find out together. I'm also blending that into the green as well. So I'm trying to blend these two shades together. That actually looks really nice. And this blue shade doesn't look patchy on my lid at all. I'm just going to take the brush that I used Gravity on and blend that blue out a little bit more. So now I'm going to take the shade Queen of Blades. It's that deeper green. I'm going to take this on a slightly smaller brush, and then I'm going to put this on my outer corner. I'm going to carry that into my crease as well. I guess we'll find out together how far that I carry this into my crease. I might go all the way, I might just go halfway. I'm just going to kind of blend it and see how I feel like it looks. And it's funny because when you blend this green on top of the blue, it looks very blue toned. Like it looks like a dark teal almost, but it in the pan, it looks really green. Like forest green, especially because it's against a blue background. As is pretty typical for me, this eye looks way better than this eye. This is how I want it to look. This eye is fine, but it's not quite quite the best. But that's alright. Okay, so I'm gonna like leave it there. I'm not gonna take it all the way in. I'm gonna leave it like kind of 75% of the way. And then I'm gonna take the shade that I use, oh my fucking god. I'm going to take the brush that I used a blue shade on, which is 7 of 9, and I'm going to blend that green out so it's all nice and blended. Okay, this might be as even as I get it, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to go in with a clean brush and very lightly blend the edges of everything, just go around the very edges, like I just fucking said. And oh, my eyes are just such uneven shapes, which is why I do cut creases a lot, because it allows me to really like adjust for that. But again, like I said, I think this is as even as I'm going to get it. I'm going to take 7 of 9, just a little bit more, and I'm just going to press that on my lid and lightly blend it up on the inner part of my eye, just because I want the blue to be there. And I think it kind of got blended away a little bit. I'm going to take Queen of Blades ever so slightly, that dark green, and just make sure that it's blended into the blue. And before I go in with any shimmer, I want to take more Gravity, the green that I initially used. I'm going to blend this all along the edge of my shadow just to get that green back. And then I'm also going to take that basically like right where, like by my eyebrow and my nose, and I'm going to concentrate it there because I want it there. I don't know. This is just what I want to do, I guess. Now, I'm going to take Nova because I think it's going to look cool because it's so iridescent and it doesn't have a base. I think it's going to look maybe cool tapped on top of these mats. I don't know. Let's just see. So I'm going to tap this on my lid. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really pretty. And then basically just like all in the inner part of this eye, I'm just going to tap it. That it looks super blue when you put it on top of blue. But when you put it on top of a base, wow, that's super pretty. And this is a very obviously sheer like application because I'm using it with my finger. Wow. And I'm basically also putting this up to like my eyebrow. I'm just like putting it everywhere. That's so cool. This is not very typical for me, but I don't know. I kind of wanted to do something that wasn't like always the same shape that I always do. So here we go. That's really cool. That's so sparkly. It looks super blue. Whereas, I don't know if you can see this on camera. I don't know if this is gonna focus. Focus. If it's focused, I don't know if it is. Here we go. Oh, maybe you can't see that, but to me, it looks super pink on my finger, and it's just cool because it just looks straight up blue on my lids. So for my lower lash line, I want to keep it relatively like simple, imitating what I have on my lid. So I'm going to take 7 of 9, that blue, and I'm going to run that all along my lower lash line. And then I'm going to blend this out as well. And now that that's really blended out, I'm going to take Queen of Blades. I'm going to put this close to my lower lash line, and I'm going to blend this out with the pencil brush just so that it blends into 7 of 9, but I'm definitely not going to take it down as far. And then I'm going to take Gravity, so that green, and I'm going to blend it out as well. Just super low down, really like smoked out. So I'm really liking the way that's looking actually, and this really didn't take me that long. It's basically like about not even half an hour, maybe like 20 minutes. And for me, for doing like an eyeshadow look, that's really fast. I'm not quite done. Finally, I'm going to take the shade Firefly. It's this green shade. Not that you can see because I'm not holding it up, but I'm sure you know what this palette looks like. I'm going to spray this. I'm going to put this on my inner corner. That's super pretty. I debated putting this, I was debating between putting this on my lid or Nova on my lid. I think either would have looked good, but this is a really pretty shade. Obviously it's not shining to its most full potential on the inner corner, but I think it looks really beautiful. And I'm also, now that I'm seeing this all come together, I'm also going to take Astro. I'm going to spray this as well, and I'm going to put this on my lower lash line. Yeah, I like the way that looks. And Astro, just to remind you, is like the dark blue shade in the palette. It's the middlemost shade. And I'm going to take Firefly on my pinky and just press that in there because I feel like fingers with these shadows really emphasize it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's basically my eyeshadow done. It's really, really cool. Like, I really like the way it looks. I'm going to put probably winged liner on. I'm probably going to put like a little bit of black eyeshadow in my outer corner. Then I'm going to do my lips and we'll be back to conclude this look. Okay, and this is the finished look. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm having a pretty good makeup day, and this doesn't always happen. So I'm trying to relish it. On my lips, what did I use? I used my L'Oreal Coloricon lip liner in 114 matte ink because it's my go-to. And then I also used this Maybelline Super Stay matte ink like liquid lipstick. This is the shade Driver. It's really like warm and peachy, but this combo has been one of my go-to like nudish lips, and I really like the way it looks. I also just use a black in my waterline, and then I did use a little bit of black shadow in my outer corner. However, I pretty much do that every single time I do my eyeshadow, so that's kind of a given at this point. But yeah, I really love this. It's a lot less structured than I normally go for, but I'm kind of really into it. I really like it. The next look that I'm going to do, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think it's going to be warmer, because both of these looks that I've done so far have actually turned out pretty like bluey cool toned. So yeah, but that's all I really have to say. So let's just get into look number 3. Okay, welcome to the third look of this video. Please excuse my hair. It's just not working today. So we're just going to ignore that. And also, if it looks like this part of my eye is red, it's because I put my blush like kind of on my eyelid, so bear that in mind, but it's all gonna blend together, don't you worry. So today, both of the looks that I've done so far have been pretty cool toned, so I'm going to play with some of the warm tones today, and yeah, I'm excited. So I'm going to start with the shade Naaru. It's that like taupey, like almost purpley color, and I'm going to put this all in my crease because I want to use the purple as well as the red in my crease, so I just want something that's a bit more neutral that both of those are going to blend into. So I feel like the peachy shade is a little bit too warm for the cooler toned purple to blend into this palette. I think it's just going to end up being muddy. Okay, now I'm going to go into the shade Rockhopper. This is the cooler toned purple. I used this in the first look that I did, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this in my outer corner and the outer part of my crease, and then I'm going to put a different shade in the inner part of my crease. Now I'm going to take the shade Red Giant. This I used in my first impressions, and I'm going to put this in the inner half of my crease. And then with a totally clean brush, I'm going to very gently blend the edges of the shadow. And I'm also going to go back into the shade Rockhopper, and I'm going to build that up a little bit more because I feel like it kind of got blended away. Now I'm going to take the shade Cylon. This is the warmer, deeper purple in the palette, and I'm going to put that into my outer corner and then use that to deepen my crease. I'm going to take this all the way through. Okay, so I built that up in my crease. Now I'm going to take each of the brushes that I used for the two other shades that I put in my crease, so Rockhopper and Red Giant, and I'm going to use those to blend this out. I'm loving the way this crease is looking so far. I just love the way this red looks with this purple. I think it's so grungy and nice. I really love it. And as you can see, I'm bringing that red really high up. I'm basically bringing it into my brow in the inner part of my eye. So I blended that out, and now I'm going to cut my crease, and then I'm going to be right back. Okay, I am back, and my crease is cut. So I'm going to take Red Giant, just a tap, go over that in my crease. Take a little bit of Rockhopper, do the same thing. And take that and put that on my lid. Whoops. These shadows are quite pigmented, but they do blend really well. Now I'm going to take Cylon, which was the purple, and I'm just going to deepen my crease up. And then I'm going to use that to deepen my outer corner. I debated what I was going to use on my lid, but I think I'm going to go into the shade Celestial. I haven't used this. I've only tapped this over my lid in my first impression, so I want to use it fully on its own today, I think. I'm going to put this, I just sprayed it, and I'm going to put this, I'm going to put it all over my lid. I debated using the green on the inner part of my lid, but I think I'm just going to use this all over today. This is such a pretty color. I'm going to put this, just intensify it a little bit with my finger. It's a really strong gold shift. Ooh, this is so nice. Okay, so I'm going to take just a little bit of Rockhopper and just blend this into the lid shade. And then I'm going to take that same brush and just blend it back and forth. This, I feel like, gives the best blend between a shimmer and a matte when I put them on the lid. And then to round everything out, I'm gonna go back into Naaru, which was that first like taupey shade I used, and just blend this over the very edges. And so on my lower lash line, I'm so conflicted. I think I just want to use the red. I honestly just want to use the reds, which is very typical. So I'm going to take the red and I'm going to put that all along my lower lash line. And I'm going to actually take the shade Void. It's that dark blue, and I'm going to use this to deepen my lower lash line because, I don't know, I'm just feeling like it. Okay, I went back and forth blending Red Giant and Void together, and I'm going to take Naaru, that taupe, and just blend everything out. For me, when I do smoked out lower lash lines, which is basically every day because I love them so much, I do find, honestly, even more than my top lash line, it really is helpful to use a lighter shade, like a transition shade or something even that's just closer to your skin tone, just because it's going to be way more noticeable, in my opinion, if you have a really smoked out lower lash line and it's like not really blended. So I just prefer to do this. And then on my inner corner, I'm going to take the shade Nova. I think I've used this shade in every single look that I've done with this palette. Okay, and that is basically my look finished. So I'm going to hop off camera, put my lashes on, do my lips, and then I'll be done. Okay, and this is the final look. If you can hear banging, my brother is doing something with his skateboard, so please try to ignore it. I'm very sorry. But I just used a plum in my waterline. It's from Colourpop, and then I used my Colourpop BFF lippy pencil, and then my MAC lipstick in Honey Love. In Yash. Sorry, I haven't used this in so long and I forgot how much I love it. Yeah, so this is the final look, like I literally just said. I also put some black in my outer corner. I love this. These tones are my favorites. If you've been here for a while, you know that. And this is the last look in this video. Let me know which was your favorite. I absolutely have just so thoroughly enjoyed using this palette. I think it's so great. The shadows really blend super effortlessly. They're a little bit powdery, but they're pretty standard in terms of what I've experienced with Kaleidos' formula in the past. I was really able to just like go to town, buff and blend everything out, and I didn't have to like worry about patchiness or anything like that. I will say this is again typical of Kaleidos' formula. If you layer a lot of mattes on each other, which I generally do when I do my makeup, you have to be a little bit careful because they can get a little bit patchy if you layer them too much. I haven't really experienced that with this palette, but I think it's just something to keep in mind. That is kind of something that happens with Kaleidos in general because their formula is so soft. I just feel like you can do so many things with this palette. The colors work so well together across the board, and there's so many different combinations you can do. I think this is such a beautiful palette. The shimmers are really sparkly and iridescent. There's not much of a base to them except for the one blue shade in the middle, so keep that in mind. I know that they did a restock on February 17th, but I believe they might bring it back in the spring, although I'm not sure. I know I saw Angelica tweet about that, but I don't know if it's like a confirmed thing yet. But I think if you were eyeing this palette and you potentially are waiting for it to come back, I would say like run, don't walk kind of deal. Like I really think this is a really special palette, and color story wise it's probably one of the most unique palettes that I have in my collection. Something that I mentioned in my first impressions, but I will mention again here, is that the one thing I was disappointed about with this launch was that they didn't have swatches of this palette on deeper skin tones on their website. I checked and they have swatches on like a medium deep skin tone, but nothing with like a really rich like a deep skin tone. So I think that's definitely something that Kaleidos can improve on. Legally Black Beauty, who I've mentioned in my first impressions as well, talks about this on our Instagram page, so I would really encourage you to go check her post out about it as well. But yeah, this is basically all I have to say. I don't want to chat too much because number one, this palette is currently unavailable and I don't want this video to be incredibly long, so we're just gonna try to wrap it up here. Let me know if you got this. Do you love it? Do you not like it so much? Do you think it lives up to the hype? Because I know this palette got a fucking ton of hype. And yeah, but I'm really happy with it. I can't wait to have a non-broken palette in my hands, but I am glad that I was able to salvage it enough to be able to use it. But it's definitely like on its last legs, this broken palette of mine. Yeah, that's all I have to say for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.